Hi there, welcome back. Today we have 3 new stories for you. Let's dive right in. Story 1. My daughter turned 1 last weekend and we hosted a small party at our house. We invited only family and close friends. I had planned everything myself and had a beautiful custom cake made. I know she's 1 and won't remember it, but it's such a milestone birthday, and she'll see the photos someday when she's grown. My sister-in-law, 26 female, is 5 months pregnant and has been making every gathering about her pregnancy. She complains a lot, insists we adjust everything to her comfort, and constantly reminds us how hard pregnancy is. We have all been pretty patient about it. Anyway, she came early with her fiancé. While we were still outside setting things up, she went straight into the kitchen where the food and cake were. I walked in maybe 10 minutes later and she had already cut into the birthday cake. A massive chunk like she was at a buffet. The party hadn't even started yet. I saw red. I shouted, "What the hell are you doing?" And she went, "I was starving. I've been nauseous all morning. I just needed something sweet." I told her that was the birthday cake for the party and it hadn't even been brought out. She just shrugged and said, "It's just cake. The baby won't care. Chill." That's when I lost it. I told her she was incredibly rude and disrespectful. She was rolling her eyes and sighing, etc., like I'm being irrational. I called her an effing moron and a degenerate who wants to make everything about her and told her to get the F out. That wiped the smirk off her face so fast. Her fiancé stepped in and tried to apologize and offered to go get another cake. But obviously, you can't just replace a custom 1 hour before a party. I asked them both to go. They left and now mother-in-law and a few others are saying I was cruel to call a pregnant woman that, and that pregnancy cravings are intense, and it was just a cake anyways. But to me it wasn't. It was deliberate and she wanted to ruin the birthday party of a baby because it stole the attention away from her for a few hours. But I'm still the bad guy for kicking out the pregnant woman at a kid's birthday party. Am I the a-hole? Edit. My husband says I did this to myself. He was never on board with inviting sister-in-law because he said she'd try to make it about her in some way. But I just couldn't say no when mother-in-law asked. Update. A few days ago, mother-in-law called me and started going on again about how it wasn't that deep and how I embarrassed sister-in-law in front of everyone. I told her I didn't embarrass anyone. Sister-in-law did that all on her own by cutting into a literal birthday cake before the party started, and I said she is an immature bully. Then mother-in-law hit me with the, "Well, you know she's pregnant. She's hormonal. She's not thinking straight." I snapped. I told her no, sister-in-law isn't hormonal. She's just self-centered. Everything since before she got pregnant has always been about her, and everyone's been tiptoeing around it. I said she could have asked someone for a snack, grabbed a granola bar from her purse, or literally anything other than cutting into the damn birthday cake. She did that to piss me off, thinking I would tiptoe around this time too. After that, I sent sister-in-law a Venmo request for the cost of the cake, $300, not including the delivery cost. Cue the meltdown. She texted me a 6-paragraph message about how cruel I was, how I had no empathy for what pregnant women go through, yada yada yada. As if I've never been pregnant. I left her on red. Then she messaged my husband trying to appease his soft side, but he was done. He told her if she didn't want to pay for the things she ruined, maybe she shouldn't ruin them in the first place. Now she has gone radio silent and mother-in-law has backed off too after I told her next time she wants to mediate something, she can do it with someone who actually asked. We've decided to keep a bit of distance from both for the rest of this pregnancy. I'm not dealing with any more drama framed as hormones. You're totally not the a-hole here, OP. Your sister-in-law is. She sounds like a self-centered, self-absorbed a-hole, cutting into a baby's birthday cake without permission because she was having sugar cravings is absurd. Like you said, she could have literally asked for snacks or even a slice. The people calling you an a-hole for kicking her out clearly have a terrible sense of judgment. You're not an a-hole, OP. I'm very glad you're making her pay for the cake she damaged. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to recreate my fiancé's parents' motorcycle trip honeymoon? It's great they did it, but it's not what I want. Posting from a throwaway for reasons. Background: I'm engaged to be married in August. My fiancé's parents owned a motorcycle dealership, and on their honeymoon, they took brand new motorcycles on a road trip across several states. Apparently, it has always been my future mother-in-law's dream that her son and his wife recreate the trip. My fiancé apparently bought off on this without consulting me. They just had us over for Sunday dinner, and I was presented with a brand new motorcycle. Funny thing is, I've never ridden a motorcycle. I have no interest in motorcycles, and frankly, they scared the shit out of me. Along with the motorcycle came an itinerary, a set of ridiculous-looking leather gear, and some cash to make the trip happen. My fiancé was like, "Aren't you so happy?" I told them in a way I consider polite but direct that I appreciated the thought, but I was not interested in recreating the trip. All of the sudden, it was 3 against 1, and apparently all of the sudden I'm a complete piece of shit for ruining his parents' dreams. His mom actually screamed at me that they spent some ungodly amount on the motorcycle. I didn't hear exactly, but 20K? 30K? More? I'm not sure. And I was being very unappreciative. I excused myself and drove home. I'm shaking from being talked to that way. Please talk me off the ledge of crazy town. Am I the a-hole here? You're not the a-hole, OP. I'm sorry these people made you feel like you were. They're the a-holes. All of them. Your fiancé and his parents. Your fiancé should have told you about his parents wanting you guys to recreate their own honeymoon. He should have consulted you first before agreeing to it. His mother shouldn't have screamed at you when you finally voiced out that you had no interest in doing a road trip with a motorcycle for your honeymoon. She should have been understanding even if she was disappointed, because at the end of the day, it's your honeymoon, not theirs. It's also stupid that they want you to go around the country when you can't even ride. Overall, I really hope that they stop trying to force this onto you and stop guilt-tripping you. If they continue, I would advise you to start reconsidering the whole wedding. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. They are huge a-holes for springing this on you and making it out that you are somehow in the wrong for not being grateful. F that. Get out now because, to be honest, if your fiancé is this easily swayed by his parents' wishes now, rather than considering what you want as his future wife, it ain't going to get better. Not the a-hole. I mean, obviously, these people are insane and all huge raging a-holes. More red flags than a parade in China. I don't know anything about your fiancé's and your relationship other than this one extremely disturbing incident. So I don't know if there is any prospect at all of you rehabilitating your relationship with him, but if so, it would have to begin with an abject, genuine and unconditional apology and agreement to immediately get into couples counseling and postpone the wedding and a commitment to establish strict boundaries with his parents, whereby you are not obligated to see them again if you don't want to. Not the a-hole. This is her dream, not yours. And it's a super weird one at that. Why would she be so set on her son and future daughter-in-law recreating her honeymoon trip? It's weird. Especially if you've never expressed any interest in motorcycles. It is a shitty situation though, to be sure. You're going to have to talk to them at some point and politely explain that although you're grateful they've spent so much, considering you've never shown any interest in their hobby, you don't understand why they would spend that money without talking to you first. Good luck, OP. This is a difficult one. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my little brother that he could get a prettier woman than my fiancée? My little brother has been a bit down on his luck lately. His first girlfriend broke up with him a few weeks ago, and he didn't land an internship position he really wanted. I decided to give him a bro pep talk today when he visited me today. I told him how proud of him I was. I told him he's more handsome than me. I told him he's taller than me. I told him he's much smarter than me. These are all true statements. I told him if a dude like me can find his way into being VP of a respectable firm before age 30 and marry the most beautiful woman in my university all the guys pine for, I have no doubt he would have a more successful career and an even more gorgeous woman. I saw him look a little less sad after my big bro talk. My fiancée was in the kitchen and listened to it all. She asked me if I don't think she is the most beautiful woman in the world, because that's what I always told her she is. I gave her a kiss and told her jokingly to not overcook the steak. She pushed me away playfully, though she was more subdued than usual during dinner. I complimented her smile and steak, but she gave me a forced smile. I just typed this up on the toilet. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. I'm honestly perplexed that this even needs to be explained to you. You just said the equivalent of, my fiancé was the best product I could obtain at my level of success and personal attractiveness, but I think you have the potential to earn a much higher quality woman one day. There were a lot of shitty attitudes about gender and implicit in those words, and it probably made her feel like a consolation prize instead of a partner. You're the a-hole, and wow, really not smart. Let's begin. First of all, making everything about looks. You're handsome, taller, you'll have a gorgeous woman is icky. Just to begin with. Second, you literally said outright that you believe there are more beautiful women than her, while you knew she was listening. Oh god, dude, buy a clue. Additionally, you made it sound like you settled because you weren't smart enough to get someone more beautiful. And then when she asked you about it, you didn't answer her. You didn't give her a direct answer. Holy hell, dude. You just crushed her self-confidence. Way to go. You're the a-hole. Women are not trophies that men win for being handsome, intelligent, rich, or whatever else you think is the measure of a good man. I get it. You were trying to build up your brother's esteem, but you don't really do that by bringing up your own accomplishments and telling him he will do at least as much. Even if he is smarter, that doesn't guarantee him success. And then be rewarded by marrying pretty. As a woman who grew up in a religion that essentially taught young men that the more they dedicated themselves to God, the better looking their wives would be, I can fully appreciate why your fiancé has been quiet. Not only did you make her out to be a prize that you earned by being successful in business, you also made it sound like you could have done better if you had only been taller or smarter. Disgusting.